I wanted to film a day in the life video, but I wanted to also talk about how I use Pinterest to build my Vibey dream life. Because in my most recent video where I talked about changing your life over 6 months, I spoke about how much I use Pinterest to help me stay connected to my goals and visions, as well as help me to feel really vibey throughout my life. Like, I use Pinterest every single day to make me feel like my life is a vibe, and that helps me to feel like I'm progressing towards my goals. And so in today, I wanted to film a day in the life because I have a really exciting day, but I also wanted to show you all the different ways throughout the day that I actually use Pinterest. So the first thing I do every single morning when I wake up, pretty much every single morning, I don't want to say every single morning, but pretty much every single morning, is I have a coffee and I sit on the couch or I sit in my bed and I use Pinterest as a visualization tool. So I spoke in my Change Your Life video about how it's really important to anchor yourself into your goals as often as you possibly can. Now, this can be for like 5 minutes every single day, and the ways that I do it is with my Pinterest and music. So I have both playlists and Pinterest boards that help me stay connected to the changes that I'm trying to make in my life, because if you don't remind yourself regularly of what you're trying to do, it's so easy to just get caught up in the autopilotness of life. And so I start my day every day with sort of a visualization session, but I'm not meditating and I'm not sitting there trying to like use my brain. I literally just sit with my Pinterest board and I just go through. Like, I've got a few different Pinterest boards that are essentially vision boards, you could say, and literally I just go through to the more ideas section and I just continually add things to these boards, and it just reminds me of the lifestyle that I am trying to create. It reminds me of the things that I'm trying to achieve. So using Pinterest as a visualization tool, especially like, I don't have like a overly wild imagination. When I've tried to sit there with like guided meditations and visualize my future, I literally come up blank so often. So using actual visual aids as a visualization tool is really powerful for me. So sometimes I'll just put on some music, have a little coffee, and then I'm just sitting there and pinning things, and it almost sets the tone for my day. You know, they say what you get that dopamine boost from in the morning is what you'll go back to throughout the day. And so for me, like, having control over the vibe that I want to create for my life in the morning, and getting that dopamine boost from the excitement that I feel looking at these pictures, rather than, let's say, going on social media and having everyone dictate to me who I should be and what I should be doing, makes me feel like I'm in control, but makes me also feel really connected and clear on what it is that I'm trying to do with my life. So first things first is that I spend time in the morning on Pinterest, either on my phone in bed, on my laptop, drinking a coffee, being vibey, and building my dream life. The next thing I like to use Pinterest for is my personal style. Honestly, I feel like such a big part of my confidence comes from my personal style. I notice such a difference, or I have noticed such a difference, since I've just been putting that little bit of extra effort into dressing in a way that makes me feel like a badass. It makes me feel cool, like the coolest person I know. But I'm also not Rachel Zoe. Like, I can't just magically visualize an outfit in my head. And so Pinterest is one of the places that I go every single day when I'm getting ready, and just helps to guide my outfit choices. I get a lot of people complimenting on my style, and like, I almost feel like I can't even take credit for it. Obviously, I'm curating these outfits, but it is largely inspired by Pinterest. So today I'm actually going for coffee with 2 girls from a mastermind that I'm in. I've never met them before, so kind of nervous, but it's gonna be really cute. So I wanna dress like a badass, you know what I mean? I'm filming. I actually have 2 masterminds today, which is really cool. So basically what I'll do is I'll just go into I have a style board on Pinterest, and it just has a whole bunch of different outfits. I mostly am trying to, when I am scrolling through and saving things for my style board, I'm mostly trying to save things that I know that I can put together with the clothing that I own. I think it's really easy to get inspired by fashion and then feel like you've got to go out and buy a bunch of stuff, but like, that is so wasteful. I'm mostly pinning things For the most part, I mean, obviously every so often I'll add things that maybe I want to buy, but for the most part, I'm pinning things to my style board that I do actually already have the pieces that could make up the outfit. I either think today I want to go like a cute, like Hailey Bieber. It's really cold today actually though, so I don't know. I was thinking, yeah, maybe something like, I don't know, a cute Hailey Bieber, like oversized blazer with some Prada loafers. I was maybe even thinking, because it is just like a brunch and it is Australia and it's freezing, maybe just something like this with like leggings, a jumper, and maybe even a blazer and a hat and like runners or something. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't want to overdress, but I also don't want to underdress. I don't know these people, but I'm about to get to know them. You know, strangers just a friend you haven't met yet, but it also is freezing. So I think I'm gonna go for like this kind of look. So let's do it. I don't even know if my apartment's big enough to show you my outfit, but let's try. If you can see. Can you see me? This is my outfit. So Balenciaga runners, little socks, leggings, the jumper, the blazer, the Melbourne style because I'm wearing all black. Not exactly what we saw on Pinterest, but inspired by what we saw on Pinterest. So I'm going to this brunch thing now. Kind of nervous, not gonna lie. But something else I use Pinterest for actually, which I didn't even plan for this video, but I thought like I was just doing it then because I'm like feeling a little bit nervous. I'm meeting some girls online, you know, obviously we're in a mastermind together, so they're doing really well. And just, this is the whole BTC pick thing, right? Because it's really easy to like obviously compare yourself regardless of whether it's you comparing yourself to people you know or you're about to know or that you've seen online. Something that I always do when I feel like I'm not comparing myself this morning, but obviously I'm just feeling a little bit like nervous and like, I don't know, it's just a new environment. I don't know how to explain it, but I always come back to the BTC pick idea. And if you don't know, BTC pick is becoming the coolest person you know or becoming the coolest person I know. And I realized that something that I do is that when I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious, I try to remind myself of all the badass things that I do and the badass person that I am. So even before, as I was getting ready, I was like raving because I know that's a big part of why I feel cool. And then I would even maybe go onto Pinterest and like I have on Pinterest a badass. Yeah, so I have like it's called a bad bitch thing, but it basically just has like, you know, women doing Muay Thai, women doing like motocross, all of the kind of stuff that I feel like a badass for, like the things that are like exclusive to me, the combination of hobbies, activities, mindsets that make me me. And so when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm gonna go meet new people, like I'm feeling a little self-conscious, I always even use Pinterest to draw back to the fact of like, I know that I'm the coolest person I know, I feel like a badass, and like that has come with practice. It's not just like you're gonna jump on Pinterest one day, but the more you feel proud of yourself, the more you recognize your own strengths, the more you realize that the unique combination of your hobbies, interests, passions, views, values, all of these things put together make you so freaking cool. And then like you can remind yourself of that, maybe create a visual representation like why I'm a badass or something like that. So that when you are going into an experience where you're feeling a little nervous or self-conscious, you can come back to the fact that like you are the coolest person you know. Lunch was so much fun, but now I have another mastermind happening. So Rachel and Darren are actually coming over now and we're gonna just do a work session and talk all about YouTube. But I thought of another thing that I do use Pinterest for, and that is like framing. I realize that like why my content looks so good sometimes, or I get a lot of compliments from people on how my like Instagram stories look so vibey. And a part of that is like a photography skill. Now I'm not a professional photographer and I wouldn't say I'm the best photographer in the world, but what Pinterest does is allows me to see the way that things are framed. So like, let's say that someone was gonna take a photo of their food, or someone was gonna take a photo of their style or their outfit, constantly like showing myself examples of images makes me think about when I'm taking a photo for my Instagram stories, the way it should be framed. Instead of just like snapping a story randomly, like I think about how to frame it, how to make it like appear to be more aesthetically pleasing, which obviously adds to it feeling vibey for the viewer, by thinking about how it's framed. So like I would say that Pinterest has made me, it's just given me a better eye for detail when it does come to photography, which is obviously good because I run a business, I have a brand, and making everything just look a little bit more cohesive, look a little bit more professional, has allowed it to create more of a vibe with like my Instagram stories and stuff. You know, it doesn't look so like rushed and haphazard. It actually looks like it's got intention behind it. So framing is something that I think about a lot when I'm using Pinterest, and it's like, I've seen this photo before, how can I almost like recreate it in my own way? So I think the last thing that I really use Pinterest for is like bringing just some intentionality to all the little aspects throughout my day. So even just with like the little things, you know, just rather than just slumping on the couch at the end of the day and like scrolling through social media, just taking that extra second to set up what I call like a vibe, you know, just lighting some candles or putting on even a cute like evening outfit or putting on some nice music or having candles, straightening up a little bit. So even if you're gonna, let's say, scroll on social media, you know, rather than doing it just like slumping on the couch and with bad posture, just like sitting there comfortably with some nice music on, a nice drink or a tea and some candles, like it really can elevate any moment. And I found that since I started consuming Pinterest more, I actually felt more of a call to like uplift all of the small areas of my life versus, let's say, scrolling on social media and having unnecessary things delivered to me. I always felt just icky after I had those sessions. Whereas with Pinterest, I just find that it's more about looking at the small little details in your life and seeing if there's any way that you can create more of a vibe. Like even a small thing, recently I started feeding my cat out of like a crystal bowl that, by the way, I got from an op shop for like $1. But I don't know, there's just something vibey about that versus like the tin bowl that she used to have. So it's not like you need to go overhaul your whole entire life, but just those individual little things that make you just feel better about the small moments, they compound into making your life feel like more of a vibe. And a lot of the inspiration that I do get for that stuff, whether it's house decor, whether it's the way I'm gonna set up my dinner, whether it's the way that I'm gonna prepare myself a drink, or even my office, like all the little individual things, all the small things that make up the entirety of my life, a lot of the inspiration for that does come from Pinterest. And then it's also a beautiful reflection when you're able to bring a vision to life, something that I've seen, something that I am inspired by, bringing that into my own existence. You know, when it comes from Pinterest, I never feel like I'm copying anyone or anything. It's like I was inspired by that and I was able to beautifully recreate it to have a similar experience for myself. So the little moments I think are really, really powerful in feeling like you have elevated the entire vibe of your life. But that was my day today. That was my vlog, sort of day in the life, explaining how I used Pinterest. I hope that you enjoyed it. Do you love Pinterest? If you do, let me know below. What do you use Pinterest for? Because I would so love to share in the excitement around Pinterest. I just love it. I really, really do. All right, I'll see you in the next one.